So I'm here basically to throw myself under the bus. I have a confession that I've been thinking this past year. I've got insurance, and I buy round the year round insurance, one policy. I've got this covered. I'm not worried at all. So when I started doing the homework, the investigation for this video on insurance, which I know is boring, but Lord, you need it. Um, I looked into my own policy and thought, oh, I'm missing two out of two out of the three most important things. So I better get my own game. And I learned a lot in investigating this. First of all, anybody who's over the age of 65 who has Medicare, you are not covered once you leave the boundaries of the U.S. to even, oh, I'm just going to Mexico. Not covered. Not covered. Keep that in mind. If you have private insurance, we have insurance at work, or we have this insurance at work, or I have whatever, not covered. It's not accepted outside the United States. So many people who are going on trips, they say, well, we're going to use the airline that we're booking our trip with. We're going to use their coverage. They don't have enough to cover you. Very limited. They have no evacuation coverage and very little on the coverage of missing cancellations. Just very little. You get sick. Read the small print. It's very little. Cruise ships offer it when you book your cruise, but it's more. It's not really an insurance necessarily. It's called protection insurance, and it's very limited. Very limited evacuation coverage, and it's more covers what they offer. Like something happens with their cruise that they can't provide, that's covered in some capacity. They lose your luggage on the ship. Okay, that's on them. You get food poisoning, whatever happens to you on the ship, they'll cover that. But it's not enough. It doesn't cover your airplanes. It doesn't cover anything outside of the ship. So it's important to get that. When you're buying outside insurance, in other words, things that aren't on your card or your cruise, really important to pay attention to is after you've purchased your insurance, you have my insurance, Allianz, has 14 days, but I've decided as soon as I book something, I'm going to go book that insurance right away. You have 14 days to go back and add on things like cancel for any reason. And the other thing that there's another add-on that you can have, and that's pre-existing conditions. If you don't have pre-existing checked off and paid for, if something happens to you on the ship and it has anything to do with that, something that happened to you before, and usually the window is 120 days, they won't cover you for that. If you have new medications, you've had a surgery of some sort, you have a new condition that's just been diagnosed and you're going to cruise anyway, that's not covered. And it's important to have that if something like this changes for you, medication. You know it's coming, so you want to get that. The other thing is cancel for any reason. And that is for the beginning of the cruise. It has nothing to do with as the cruise goes on, nothing to do with that. It's only cancel, I'm not feeling comfortable with the weather. My mom or my parents aren't feeling well. Something's come up that I can't do this. I'm just going to have to, for whatever reason, cancel. And that'll cover you. But you only have so many days from the time you've booked this to add it on. So make sure you either do it right away. That's what I'm going to start doing, because I'll forget. As soon as I book a trip of some sort, I'm going to go right in there and pay for that. It's really, once it's gone, you cannot go back for any cost. You can't go back and add it. It's gone. So important. Number 3, the most important thing out of all of this conversation, evacuation insurance. I cannot stress that enough. Cruising in particular, I don't know if you can evac from Mount Everest or anything, but I know from a cruise, because it just happened this week outside of Bermuda, evacuation insurance is what takes you off of a ship. If something, if you're past the infirmary, they're like, we can't help this person. Then they will call the Coast Guard and they'll come and pick you up, and something like that. That is between $85,000 and $125,000. And if you don't have the insurance coverage for that, that's on you. all of it. And that will wipe you out, wipe your family out, and your trip is canceled. The whole thing's a mess because you didn't have that little box checked and you didn't pay for the evac. I cannot stress that enough. As I was saying, I have a friend who's on a cruise ship outside. I want to say it's Bermuda, but it could be Bahamas. I'm not sure. Anyway, she posted on her YouTube video. She said, "And here comes the helicopter," because the ship had stopped, and people wondered what's going on. So here comes the helicopter, and they were taking a person off, and then they came back and got somebody else. So the only thought she had going through her mind was, "I hope you have insurance. I hope to God you have that kind of insurance. You're going to need for that." So anyway, that's enough preaching. I just wanted to say I checked my own policy, and yeah, I've screwed that up. I didn't have enough coverage. I've gone back and added all of that, and I'll be buying them per trip. How I'm going to do that if I'm living on ships, I'll have to work on that. But I realize now that there's a time period. You don't have forever to add on these things. There's a time limit. So please watch. Please do the right thing with your insurance. Forget the drink package. Get the insurance. Okay, I'm done preaching. Thank you. Bye.